Okay, let's start with the Roosters. 48 defeat the Rabbitohs 6. For the Bunnies, Brian, it was UGLY. No need at all for an alibi.
No, it was probably from the first minute of the game. I honestly thought, righto, this back's against the wall. South Sydney sort of back at home.
Yep.
And I'm saying they're going to have a few fans out there, but from the kickoff, the Roosters, they were just finding their fronts, and that's what I realised, sitting up high, looking down, how loose they were around the middle of the ruck. I mean, if it wasn't for Cameron Murray, I don't know how many tries he saved or breaks he saved, but he needs some help.
Yep.
And it's now come to the time where they need more from the back. Latrell has to go to the centres, and they've got to put a fullback. I'm saying Jack Whiten. You're saying no. You want AJ? I want Jack Whiten.
Oh, well, not even
I just
AJ.
want returning the ball back because I think Whiten, he's
Yep.
been out for 3 weeks.
Yep.
Get off the back fence and get the set started.
Well, that's what I spoke about with Dylan Edwards at the Penrith. So they would not want a Tommy Turbo or a Reece Walsh or a Latrell. They want a system fullback who's going to do the job they ask. And the job that they ask of him is to bring the ball back strongly, try and get that play for carry so they can all do the kick chase. And that's going to get him 300 metres, 250 metres most weeks. Brian Totwell's doing the same. The back five are all doing the same. So they're giving their forwards a rest. If Latrell just wants to hand it off every time at the back, that's one player who's not getting the run meters that's got to go somewhere.
Yeah,
and
the forwards have to run back and get onside. You watch the Penrith forwards, they walk.
They stop.
They stop. Yeah, so they wait until their attack catches and meets them.
Yes.
Rather than what you've been told in the old days, I sprint down, right, I turn around and sprint back, get onside.
They're getting these mini breaks all the time.
Save your energy.
Mini breaks.
So I think the time has come that Latrell's got to go. He's got to be in the side. I hear people saying, put him in reserve grade. That's a ridiculous statement. Put him at left centre. Let Jackie Whiten just do what he does best and run as hard as he can. They're not going to have as much attack, but they're also going – the thing that they need to get out of their own half because they can't defend.
Yeah, but what's wrong with Jack Whiten being there? And when you cross into good ball, it's so easy for Jack to slide out and Latrell go and let yourself loose. Unfortunately, well, it's not unfortunate. He's just that style of player. Square peg, round hole. The current fullback has got to be high velocity, tempo the whole game, super, super fit, on the ball in the picture. And every gun fullback right now is doing that.
Yeah.
In defence, it's just not Latrell. He's not a highly aerobic player, is he?
I think he could be. At the moment, it's the whole attitude of South stinks.
Yeah.
I mentioned Sandon Smith, who's a young 5'8", who's probably had 10 or 12 games. He goes into first receiver, puts a bomb up, no pressure. It's 2 minutes into the game, not one bit of pressure. They kick to Milne over there on the wing, and he doesn't catch it. It drops.
Yeah.
Like you're a winger, that's your job.
Yes.
If a ball goes up, catch it on the full. He lets it bounce. They have a scrum. Dom Young scores in the corner. It's after 4 minutes, it's 6-0. The wind was out of the sails.
Yep.
There was just no aggression at all, either in attack or defence for South. Kaloa Matangi a couple of times was, going across field, fending blokes off. There wasn't anyone hitting holes for him. So
you know who they could actually do with this type of player? Could you just imagine someone like a Lockie Miller? They've got enough points in them, right? That workman-like, if they got a Lockie Miller who's gone to Super League, somebody who's just going to run all day for you, if you had Latrell and Whiten sitting in the centres, that completely changes your team.
Well, Cody would love that.
Wouldn't he?
Cody would love that.
Massive. They need that highly aerobic player, that system player like Dylan Edwards.
Who's the young kid, Jai? The kid that played, is that his name? Jai Gray. Jai Gray, yeah.
Haven't seen him. Brian.
So he played in the Charity Shield, little headgear, little fella. He's like an Energizer bunny. He's all over the place. Don't know whether he might be a little bit small. Big ask, I suppose, coming in a first grade at fullback at such a big position. But maybe they could have him on the bench, bring him on for a little bit of spark. I don't know, but whatever they're doing at the moment, it isn't working, obviously. And they need, you look at their team. Like, you've got Cameron Murray, Latrell, Cody,
Cookie,
Jack Whiten,
Zatola. It's Tommy Burgess.
It's just all very one-out stuff.
Yeah.
They're not sort of pushing up for each other.
And by all reports, Lockie Ellis played really, really well in New South Wales Cup. Now, what does he do? Like I think he's got to. just for your own ego, and people like to double down on their own decisions, right? So he's made the call to bring in Hawkins. He's got to kind of.
I thought Hawkins went okay.
But what's your guess? Does he stay with him or not?
Yeah, stay with him. You got to.
Yeah.
You got to stay with him.
Well, if he doesn't stay with him, it just looks like they're all over the shop, doesn't it?
Yeah. They've got to stay with him. I thought he reminds me of Tugger.
Yeah.
Tugger Coleman. Just even his running style and passing style. That wasn't the issue.
Here's the coach. Here's the coach, Brian, Jason Demetrio, on, well, this is how he sees things going.
Just where we're at the moment, the monkey's on our back, and you can see that, in our resolve at times, and, there's some effort there, but it's put into the wrong places, and like I said to players, there's only one way out, and that's staying together and fighting for training well next week and getting them back on the horse.
Yep.
Simplify your life, Joel. Simplify your game, Bunnies.
Yep.
Get rid of those bombs, those midfield bombs. Just go back to the old days where you kick to a corner, run down and try and bash.
Try and ragdoll them.
Try and ragdoll the winger.
The Bunnies head to, we got the call too, by the way, so we've got the Panthers taking on the Roosters on Thursday night, SEN League. We've also got the Good Friday clash, which is the Bunnies taking on the Dogs. Lucky the Dogs won. We would have had our first Good Friday game ever where neither side had won a game. It's a massive game. SEN League will have you covered. I didn't see this game so closely. I was out and about, Brian, but you did, and you absolutely loved it. Eels defeat the Seagulls. The Seagulls took a 14-0 lead.
Oh, it was awesome. They were just coming out of their own end. They were just shifting at either side.
Love that.
They really were peppering Morgan Harper's side and young Blazer's side, and they came out and after blink of an eye it was 14 zip. They had a little bit of luck, the Eels, but then once they got their momentum, Junior Barlow coming off the bench, offload central. Yeah. It was funny. It was they were both entertaining in attack, but different styles. Manly were shifting it, where Para were just hitting it up, looking for a little offload. Got to give a rap to young Lussick too, Joey Lussick. He played the whole game. Did his job really well, tackled everything. I thought he was an unsung hero for him. So
he's playing great.
Yeah, playing 80 minutes too in this day and age. Good on him.
Really, really sad news, and he played well as well. It was his 200th match. I'm talking about Regan Campbell-Gillard. The Eels wore the black armbands to mourn the loss of his brother. Geez, I tell you what, it's been a really tough time for Regan Campbell-Gillard and his family. So thoughts and prayers for him, and poor bugger. Like, just devastating, tragic news. Still turned up for his teammates.
Really
I know.
Good.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
So
he lost
sad.
his mum last year too.
I know. And I didn't know his mum, but I'd ask Justin Yeo, who's Isaiah Yeo's father, and I'd say, mate, who do I get on from the Penrith parents, And he said, oh, well, they're not at Penrith anymore, but you've got to get on Regan Campbell-Gillard's mum. She's such a character, and unfortunately we never got around to doing it. And, it's all very, very sad, and very much the thoughts of the whole SEN family go out to the family of Regan Campbell-Gillard. Anthony Seibold, so there was an obstruction in the game. Before we get into that, Brian, what did you make of that? And this kicked off the big feud between Brooksy and Buzz, by the way. And if Buzz rings up, I think he can get a Mickey hat.
Yes. Okay, Buzz. He was never going to get him, ever. Luca Moretti was never going to get him. He'd
given up on the chase, hadn't
he? No, he just was buggered. You could just see he wasn't going to get him. The rules are that you can't stop in the defensive line, and that's what Jake did. It's very similar to the one with Jerome Hughes, Penrith Panthers, down there. Remember when Jerome was obstructed?
Yeah.
Didn't get obstructed by anyone. Same sort of thing.
Yeah.
They're the rules. If Jake just had kept running through, they all know the rules.
Yeah.
It's fine. But young Moretti did well to sort of play on it.
Would you like there to be some common sense, or does that just open up?
No, because then you're just going to... I mean, common sense. We're talking about common sense. We were watching this Mitch Kenny's try. How in what world is that not a double movement?
He's promoted the ball.
Of course he is.
He would have got there with momentum, but that's not the point, is it?
It's not the point. You can't promote the ball.
Yeah.
Just you got to keep like Roger did. Roger in the Warriors game, he was short, but the momentum got him over.
Yep.
I don't even understand how that happened. Anyway, move on.
Anthony Seibold had this to say about it.
again, I'm biased, so I thought it was a try, but again, it wasn't ruled a try, so we had to keep fighting. We kept fighting. We scored a try after that. So, it's a tough comp, right? Everyone's seen the results, and it's there's a cluster of teams that are really, really close. So, Parramatta were too good there today at times, but there's certainly some things that we can hang on to and keep growing off the back of that.
He says he's biased, and that's sport, right? So I reckon most Manly fans will say, "Oh, we're ripped off," and most Parramatta fans will say, "Well, that's the rules."
Yeah.
And if the same thing happened on the other shoe, it'd be same response. It's just what happens, Brian. West Tigers. We had a feeling, didn't we, that it profiled like the Dolphins. So it was a team who was poor first up. They're taking on a team who's up and about. They were hosting a team at home for the first time of the year, Ambush Central, and didn't they do that?
It was very good coaching, and I reckon this is sometimes it's good having a sort of half as your head coach, because Benji, what his game plan was just to tire Nico out.
Yep.
So they'd go down the short side at Nico, bang, one back into the open side, then back. That's what we used to do playing against the Tigers. We used to terrorise Benji.
Yep.
And that's what they did. So very well done, because Nico was quite ineffective when it was time to attack.
And what makes it hard is that, what do you think Ricky's doing this week?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's watching the video and saying, righto, that's a blueprint.
Because they are heavily stacked. Like, it's a bit like a share portfolio, if you like, Brian. They are heavily in the blue chip share of Nico Hines, aren't they? So if that doesn't work, if that stock doesn't perform, they are heavily in on him.
Yeah, right. You could say that about a lot of halfbacks. Don't you think? You could say that about a lot of teams.
No, mate, I reckon the ratio of a Sharks win versus maximum Dally M points for Nico and the Sharks would be far higher than every other team.
All right.
Do you reckon that or not?
A Cleary?
If their team wins...
Penrith, they're very reliant on...
Of course they are.
Reynolds at the Broncos.
Yep.
But no, well done, Benji. And the thing that I liked, they kept going too. So they got a bit of a sniff. Appy is a gun.
Yep. Appy's the Blues number 9.
Appy's the Blues number 9.
Yep.
Give it to him. So well done, even though we're discussing the Leichhardt issues.
Okay. Speaking of Benji, gets his first win as an established coach now in the NRL.
It feels good for the team. It's not about me, it's about the team, and just for the club on a whole. And if I'm being honest, what I saw in the preseason and how much work we put in was put into 80 minutes tonight. And that's what I'm most proud of, is ask the boys to just follow the game plan for 80 minutes and give us that, and they did it.
And a costly game for the Sharkies, Brian, because Finucane copped a few knocks. He's a tough warrior. Toby Rudolph, Royce Hunt, all injured.
Are they all out?
They'd have to be in some big doubt, all of them.
Okay.
Rudolph with an ankle on the Bateman tackle, Hunt in the warm-up, and Finucane with those head knocks. Just over 15,000 at Leichhardt Oval. Craig Fitzgibbon conceded his team was simply out enthused.
Got into a good start, got going, high-quality start, game, both teams trading. We just searched. We weren't comfortable in that space and searched for too much. And then the errors and the penalties started and compounded, and we got out enthused. They were great, and we were not.
Yeah, that happens at the start of the year. The Tigers worked all off-season to get this first win, more motivated perhaps. Sharks up and about, off a trip as well. Cowboys 46, Dragons 24. This was remarkable.
Strange game.
Strange game.
They were cruising, the Dragons. Raymond, Vitala Mariner, all he had to do was put the ball down. Apparently he hadn't scored in like 3 or 4 years.
Oh.
That was a 12-point turnaround.
Yep.
But they got some attack. The Cows, either side. Valdust was very, very good, I thought. Made up for last week. We said that, didn't we? Remember we said, you watch him come out and have a storm.
He had his worst game of all time.
Yeah.
And he schooled him on the left-hand side. Brian, as it stands right now, who do you see as the last 4 teams standing, as it stands right now? I'll ask you this every week.
Chooks, Storm, Penrith, Brisbane
to come back.
Yeah,
Okay.
Brisbane.
You don't see the Warriors?
I don't see the Warriors at the moment. Not in front of those 4.
Okay. Well, the Dragons are now conceded 84 points in their last 2 games. Here's Shane Flanagan on where it all went wrong.
Probably on the Ray Fatale and Mariner no try there. We go 24-4 there, I think, and that would have been a really nice head start, and maybe the opposition are starting to look at the scoreboard, but we didn't handle that no try. What happened post that? They went and scored, 18 unanswered points. So I thought there was some really good patches of football. Like, we looked sharp. Every time we got into good field position, we scored tries.
This bloke here, he's a straight shooter, Flano, but this bloke here, he's going to be there knocking on the door for a Blues jumper maybe, or at least in the extended squad. I'm talking about Scott Drinkwater. What's changed in 2024 for the Cowboys?
Look, I'm not going to say we're back, but we're taking steps in the right direction. Look, we spoke about your personal obligation to the team and what it means being 24/7 and, coming back in good shape, coming back fit, ready to go. And, as I said, that personal obligation, your routine, what you're doing not before the game, what you're doing game day, what you're eating, just those things. We just thought that we were just, a bit underdone. A few blokes, the skin folds were up, and all about that, Coops. And so just stuff like that. So everyone got a long pre-season this time, so we're a bit fitter.
Okay, there you go. Thoughts, Brian? Toddy Payton screams have been a good coach, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'm just worrying about that's 2 weeks in a row they've let in 20 odd points.
Yeah.
That's my only query on them at the moment. They can score points. It's pretty easy, but you need to have that 12 points, 14 points average.
Warriors 18 defeat the Raiders 10. Are they on their way to a minor premiership, Brian? You never know. Dreams are free. Bulldogs defeat the Titans 32 blot.
That was awesome.
Attacking problems they have. The Titans, don't worry about that. And the Knights, we thought they could get their first win. They found a way, and all of a sudden you thought with 90 seconds to go, they can't do it again, can they? The men in purple. But they defied that raid, the Knights, and get their first win of the year. After the break, Scotty Sattler and Matty Rogers. It's a run home with Joel and Fletch.